Hello and welcome to another What Is It About? This time we're talking about the Gibson Flying V, a guitar that's been close to my heart since I was a kid, really, watching Mark Bolan play one on top of the Pups, and you can still see that video on YouTube there. He plays Get It On. That's where I first saw one being used in anger, and it just piqued my interest in that. And since then, various players have come along, adopted the V, and I've always loved it. In 1981 I was fortunate enough to be able to purchase a second-hand one myself, and a mid-70s style one with the shorter headstock on it. It's a beautiful thing. The guitar I should never have got rid of. I've no idea why I got rid of it, just an idiot, but yeah, I've always had V's since that point, and this is kind of going back to the closest I'm probably going to go to get to that guitar I had, that mid-70s V. A superb instrument, and this is a superb instrument too. So the history of the V. Ted McCarthy, 1957. I will be looking at notes, by the way. Yeah, my memory's not that great these days. Ted McCarthy, 57, he got a group of artists, designers together. They gave him some feedback. He gave him some feedback on what he wanted, a more futuristic design, because Gibson were losing out on sales big time to like Fender with their Strat. The Strat was seen as a kind of modern guitar, futuristic guitar at the time. So yeah, out of these designs, Ted and his buddies, they picked this design here, this Flying V design, and it has remained the same from the first time they decided they were going to go with this. In essence, okay, headstock sizes have changed a little bit and the tail pieces, but in essence the shape, the body shape, has been the same from the word go. Unfortunately though, it was when it came out in '58, it wasn't very popular because it was regarded as just too futuristic for people. Yeah, seems incredible. But according to my notes here, in '58 Gibson only shipped 81 of the original Flying V's, the Carina ones with the V-tail piece and all that. These guitars fetch a small fortune now because of the numbers that were made then. They're up there in price with the Gibson 59 bursts, and that, it's just so rare, really. And the following year, they only shipped, in 1959, they only shipped out 17. So, yeah, it just seems absolutely incredible, doesn't it, to think of a guitar so iconic. I mean, we're talking seriously low numbers there, aren't we, for a company like Gibson in a country as massive as the States. They only made that small amount of them. And of course, the history has been a bit of a checkered one, really, because going into the 60s, it was only really when people like Dave Davis of the Kinks started playing one. I think Keith Richards, did he? I'm not sure on that. I have to look that up. Keith Richards might have had one. But basically, Dave Davis, he got around, when the Kinks became popular, and he's one. He lost the airline on a tour of America lost his guitar. So he popped into a music store, and a guy got a dusty case out from somewhere, and apparently opened this thing. Said, "What do you think of this, Dave?" And he wanted $60 for an original Gibson Flying V. So that's a great bit of business from Mr. Dave Davis there. But, yeah, he outpopularised things. After him, Jimi Hendrix there, Isle of Wight Festival and what have you, and he had, people maybe call that psychedelic painting he did on one of his V's as well. And that was one of the later, the 66 kind of era Flying V's, that one he was using there. But again, I'm going to look at my notes just to make sure I'm not talking nonce. Yeah, only 111 of those, the early batches of those that were made, which is still incredible to me. So they're expensive, they're very expensive now. Moving on to 1971, the Medallion V's, KK Downing, he had a very famous Medallion V. I think Michael Schenker had one as well for a bit. Obviously recognised by the medallion on the body. I think there's only 350 of those made, and basically that was it until the mid-70s, and then Gibson decided to bring it back, and I'm presuming, you know, with guys like Mark Bolan and what have you, making this guitar popular. Andy Powell, of course, of Wishbone Ash, KK, and a few others, and of course Michael Schenker, all making the V kind of popular again. Decided to go with it, and it has stayed in production pretty well since then. I mean, it's had a few gap years, but it's pretty well been in the catalogue, and when they've taken it out of the catalogue, they brought it back straight away. You know, it's still there. It's still a popular in demand guitar. Of course, it spawned a lot of clones, really. You know, you think of Randy Rhoads with that famous polka dot one there. You know, and there's guys in the sort of metal scene that have adopted variations of it, like Kerry King there, you know, with his King V and all that sort of thing. And of course the Jackson Sharp thing, you can't deny it's not an offshoot of this, so yeah, it's very popular in the thrash scene. But yeah, the V has gone on to influence a lot of people in the sort of rockier end of things, as you might expect, but I think it's a more versatile guitar. So let's have a little look. I'm on the neck pickup. This is the Sir Thornbuckers, on a fairly clean setting, so you've got lovely warm sound. This is well, apart from the early 2 years, the V's, and of course the limited editions when they have made them out of Korea, but the V's of latter year, from the 60s onwards, have been mahogany bodies and necks and what have you, rosewood fingerboards there, you know. So that's the classic sort of V these days, really. And it's a warm sound. It's a really warm sound. I always say the shape's got something to do with the V. It has obviously a large bit of wood missing here, and it thins out. And I think it's a very mid-range guitar with the mahogany and the bits of wood that are missing out of it. So you do get a nice cutting edge through it. And it's like a thinner sounding Gibson than the SG and the Les Paul. You know, it's just got some. You've just got some nicer, I won't say more articulate, but it just thins it out. If you don't want that full-on humbucker sound, but you still want a bit of meat, great stuff. So yeah, let's move into middle position. Middle position. Sorry. Very nice indeed. Just going back to that neck pickup, you can get the full flute going. Onto the bridge position, and most people will have the thing goose flat out. There's a bit more to it than that. You can, using your volume knob, you can get some jangle out. Saxon riff. That A chord. Sound, you get a very cutting, rangy sound. Really dodgy attempt at a Michael Schenker bit there. Very sweet and lyrical guitar if you want it to be. So yeah, the Gibson Flying V, absolutely iconic instrument, far more versatile than people think it is. Though, totally get the whole thing. You know, if you're going to play one of these on stage, people are going to take one look at you and say, this is going to be a rock set, or it's going to be like heavy music or whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be so. As I say, there's blues players, and you got like Lenny Kravitz has played funk through his like V, and you can use it in a whole wide situations. But I do get the image fits the rock and thrash thing perfectly. So yeah, that just remains for me to say, if you're still watching, thanks for still watching. There's another little bit of an epic here. So I do love the V. It is one of my all-time favourite guitars. If you want to subscribe, feel free. If you don't, no probs at all. But just remains for me to say, take it easy, guys. See you later.